now God says a president that I will bring into the White House. And they will say he is ungodly. He does not know God. But even as Jesus disguised himself for the great feast, so I have disguised this man's heart. And when he comes to the White House, not only shall he be mine, but he shall pray as a man that has never prayed in the White House. Is anybody excited about this? That same man says the Spirit of God shall put his feet onto this platform, and God says they will say, how did this take place? Laws shall change. Young men and young women shall have access into the kingdom, and with authority into politics, and with authority into the industries that now have been controlled by darkness. Because of this man that shall rule for another 2 terms, for 2 terms, God said, do not fear, for the Lord says there will be no unnecessary stuff, but there will be things that men shall question. Fear not, for he shall sit in that seat, and suddenly my Spirit shall come upon him and baptize him with a fire and with anointing, says the Spirit of the Lord. Come on! No more war! 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 No more! Come on! You listen to me. Time for war has gone. The time of war has gone. Peace shall reign the streets as they have, but not like before. Listen to me. The time of war has gone. The time for peace has come. And I will walk in your streets again. And the house they call white shall receive a man who stood in your night. And the house that you call white shall receive a man a night. He fought for you.
So I was just telling my mother how incredible, first of all, that prophecy is. But my favorite is that end part because he sings it. And he said, a knight who has fought for you in your nights. A knight as in K-N-I-G-H-T. That's how it's written in the transcription. And really, I think people don't really understand how difficult this has been for the Trump family. I believe that prophecy is about Trump. It's in the same time period, same few months he said Trump would be a Trump, and he saw all this stuff. So for me, I believe that that is him talking, and you even see about him talking about them changing the laws and God fighting for us in our streets. And what we've seen over the last few years has been really a need for that, for God to fight for us in our streets. Look at the streets of America. You know, a lot of these big cities overrun with homelessness and drug abuse. We've got a fentanyl problem. Fentanyl is a synthetic morphine coming from China is what it is. And it really is doing a number on those who are weak in our societies that have problems and issues that find themselves addicted. It is a terrible thing to see in some of the cities in America what is happening. And we really need God to be fighting for us on the streets. Not only in America, all over the world. In Iran, they are fighting in Iran. Even in Russia, the people in Russia that protest what Putin's doing and what's going on over there are being thrown onto the front lines against their will. Young people. God's not okay with that. I know that. And so it's reached a point where I do believe God is going to have to really take the reins and take control. I think he already is. But I was just so inspired by that prophecy, because especially at the end when he said, a knight who's fought for you in your nights. And for the Trump family, this has been very difficult. They don't have to do this. They can go home and live very nicely, and no one will ever bother them again. If Donald Trump said, I won't run, I'm done, and I'm going to go home to Mar-a-Lago, they would leave him alone, and you would stop hearing horrible stories about him being this evil mastermind, but he is not. He is just bold, and God needs bold people right now. I mean, fear has taken over in a way I've never seen before, where people are rejecting their own family members and turning their backs on people that they love out of fear, because a news media and a government full of politicians who we all know lie, all of them on both sides, are telling you, oh, we're going to keep you safe. You have to be scared. We're going to keep you safe. Always beware of that. If someone says that to you, you better have a good look before you just believe them, because that person and that spirit also that is behind and driving some of these people is wanting to take your voice away. And the main thing they want to take away is Jesus. And it's written in music contracts and movie contracts with actors and musicians where they are not allowed to speak about Jesus. And I don't understand that. Why would you do that unless you have a particular thing against Christians? And that's why we see drag shows in churches who are being deceived. And we have a lot to pray for. We need God in our streets. And so I was very honored to be able to premiere that, or debut it, or whatever word we want to use, show you guys that prophecy, because we didn't even know it was there. And it just was a confirmation right before these midterms for me.
So they need to go out and vote, don't they?
Yes.
People need to go out and vote. Make sure you make your voice heard.